Let's move them up to the other team because that would be a boring game if they had no opponents to play against. So we've got our 2 players coming back in for match number 2. Just waiting on TheSun to accept. Sidewinder's already ready. And of course, once again, Terran versus Protoss. Looks like as if TheSun took his full amount of allotted 10 minutes to be able to look through that replay with a deep tooth comb. That's what I was gonna say. Wow, that's bad. You can laugh at me now. Oh man, with a fine tooth comb. There we go. That's how the expression goes. Looks like he was looking through. And of course, MLG Shattered Temple. With this map, once again, you cannot spawn in close positions by ground, and mainly the reason why they do this is to make sure that the Zerg matchups are not completely unfair for the Zerg player by having so few options. Of course, some pleasantries coming down from Sidewinder. Good luck, sir. So here we have, on the right side, we have Sidewinder the Protoss, and why don't you introduce our other player, Dylan?
Then we have TheSun, who is playing as a Terran, and this will be a second match for both of them. And the last match, Sidewinder won, and was kind of lopsided due to his fast expansion.
Yeah, definitely Sidewinder easily took that. TheSun's probably feeling a little bit shaken up about this, knowing that it is single elimination. It's do or die for him. Is he going to be doing a standard build, or is he going to be doing some sort of all-in? Already making a slight mistake, losing about 15 minerals by canceling, I think it's 15 minerals, by canceling that supply depot and repositioning it.
Oh hey, what happened when the Terran player built too many factories? He tanked the map.
Almost good, almost good. I'll almost give you that one. That was almost good, but he tanked the map. I like the fact that you made the pun, but tank the map? Tank the map? Maybe you should have said match, you know? But either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there we go. We see pretty standard builds. Scout coming out, and oh, TheSun. TheSun forgetting. He forgets that this is the MLG map and you cannot spawn close by ground positions. And TheSun obviously has not had a lot of experience against Protoss. This is one of the biggest problems you encounter. And what is he going to do? A ninja expansion, or is he going to continue scouting now? Oh, and look at this. Cross scout coming from Sidewinder, knowing that you cannot spawn close by ground. Definitely taking that advantage. Being very smart and taking a little bit of a risk doing cross scout rather than by air, as I do believe on this map you do not guarantee cross spawn positions. And oh, look at that sick micro. TheSun keeping that probe out but not keeping it out long enough. Sidewinder could come in. I'm really surprised Sidewinder did not come in and check for the gas. I really would have liked to have seen him do that. We can see the scout from TheSun finally getting to the Protoss base a little bit late because he forgot about that golden rule on this map. Looks like both players pretty even right now, with Sidewinder just slightly behind at times when it comes to the macro race. Oh, pulling off all of those probes and then not attacking. Oh my god, that's a big hit to the economy. I really do not suggest doing that. Maybe he's planning on some sort of tech that he really doesn't want to see. Oh! Forgetting to micro that stock, kill that scout, considering he wanted to kill it so badly before. Looks like we're seeing so far what looks like it might be a 3-racks coming from the Terran player. What do you think about the 3-rack strategy against Protoss, considering it seems to be less and less effective these days?
Well, unless he can really get those Marauders out quick and some air support, it's kind of risky. I mean, I like to do it with 3 tanks as support and then rush, but if you don't have the air support, you can screw yourself over.
Yeah, early game though, you won't need the air support too much. It's definitely a good idea to make sure you have some Marines if you know they've got a Stargate, or even if you don't know anything. I do agree with you though, this 3-racks push is a lot weaker than it used to be, and really players should be doing this with some tank support. Either that or just basically all-in style, but this map, it's quite a long distance by ground in cross positions, so I don't think an all-in is a viable strategy, and I don't think TheSun wants to lose the game and is going to try anything that risky. Ooh. Yes, and we do see a 3-gate Robo coming up. Really standard against Terran these days. 3-gate Robo or 3-gate Stargate openings are basically the de facto builds against Protoss. For the Sun, if you do watch this later, 2 racks fast expand. I'm putting that tutorial up on my channel. That is pretty much the build against Protosses.
Oh, my favorite match against Zerg that I saw was a 2-gate Sentry Rush.
2-gate Sentry Rush. Interesting. Usually 2-gate Zealot Rushes are the things. I don't know. There we go. We can see the Sun moving out with a bit of an army really early on, but I don't think this will be anywhere near enough. And if that force field comes down and delays for even a little bit, or splits that army up, this is going to be a massacre. And the Sun, this could be really good if his micro is perfect, but oh my god, it takes so long to walk across. We can see even another Stalker and a Sentry getting added on. This is not looking good for the Sun. He'll probably have to turn around. Hopefully he does not overcommit. He might get a free probe kill though.
Yep.
Oh no, and he does let his units get trapped by that force field. And there we go. Very good, moving those extra Marauders up to be able to get vision, and then running the rest of his army away. I like the fact that he's retreating now, but oh my god, he has to keep retreating. Those Stalkers are out for blood. Oh, this could be bad. He should not engage this. I like the fact that he's targeting that Sentry though. Very powerful. Concussive Shells isn't done, but kiting didn't seem to be effective, but very good aggression. I love the way that he's being aggressive. This is what you should be doing against a Protoss player. This is by far the hardest thing to hold off. Oh no, letting that force field split his army in half again and running that Marine right by the edge of the cliff so it can easily get shot. He needs to be fixing his rally points. Has he done that yet? Yes, he has fixed his rally points to the watchtower. Okay, and we're seeing an expansion coming down a lot earlier. I think the Sun is really going to do a lot better this game. What are we seeing on the income tab, Dylan?
25 to 25.
Yeah, and this actually gives the Terran player the advantage because basically they can call down one mule, and then once that one dies, they usually have enough energy for the second mule. So the Protoss player always wants to be at least 4 probes ahead because of that mule advantage. Oh, interesting. Oh, never mind, he wasn't getting high ground vision. That attack a little bit sloppy, attacking when he didn't have full high grounded. Oh. I like the fact that he was doing some target firing, but lost way too many units. I should have tried to do a little bit more micro. But then again, this is really keeping the Protoss player on the back foot. As we can see though, neither player is pulling that far ahead. If you look at the units lost tab there, you'll see they're pretty equal, especially considering that they're still equal in harvesters and overall supply count.
And if Sidewinder happens to do a Dark Templar plus the Warp Prisms, he'll hit pretty hard right now. He's just unprotected.
He won't be able to get that for a long time though. The Dark Shrine takes forever to get out, and definitely he won't be able to get that out in time. Sidewinder here finally getting back on his feet after all of that early aggression. Very good aggression by the Sun. Although he does not notice this observer, or else he just doesn't want to waste a scan to kill it off. Personally, I would suggest, he doesn't even have enough Marines to one-shot it, so it's not worth scanning unless he brings down these 3 Marines. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if, he's not going to scan and take that out. Not all players realize this, but if we look at his vision cam, you can actually see a little bit of glimmering right here. Right above my cursor, you can see some glimmering to show that there's an observer.
Right.
It's a lot harder to see when it's stationary though, so that's definitely one thing. But every now and again, some players will just blindly say, oh, look at the drop, totally missed that. Those Zealots coming in for some blood and getting away.
Yep.
Did they do much damage? Sadly, I can't see how much, if they have any kills each, but very smart. Yeah, he definitely delayed the economy, and the very smart thing about drops is whenever you drop, you always want to make sure that you do not lose anything from your drop. The whole point of a drop is to deal damage without taking any, or to deal a lot more damage than you take. Well, that's
just harass.
When we're saying about harass, drops are harass, but when you're doing a drop, you want to make sure that you keep in mind that whole economic thing. You do not want to lose anything from your drop, because then your drop wasn't efficient if you don't do enough damage. As we can see, warping some Zealots on the low ground. Oh, the Sun does see this. Very good. but there's going to be a counter push at his natural, which is completely saturated. Oh man, that's a lot of damage. Seeing 2 SCVs already go down. Oh, not going to take out the third one, choosing to load up and run away. And did you see what damage was done in the main? Was there much damage done there? Okay, so a little bit, but not too much. But definitely, that wouldn't have been worth it, considering that was 300 resources worth of zealots to only get a delay a little bit. And look at this, taking a third base aggressively, the Sun. I like this. Definitely love to see that macro play.
I think he's trying to do what I think he's trying to turn the
Yeah,
tables
definitely. He
on
wants to say,
Sidewinder
I'm going to win the
game.
macro race this time. Look at that Marine, total baller, trying to chase down this Warp Prism. Little does he know, yeah, he's not going to get that Warp Prism. Looking back at the Protoss base, we see Templar Archives, which have been there for a long time, and we do not see robotic support base, so it looks like there will be no Colossi this game, interestingly enough, but we are seeing the Double Forge Chrono boosting out upgrades, Chrono Boost just ending, and we're going to be, yeah, that will happen a lot of times, but it's not a big deal because the Observer's sitting there and not following the army. When it follows the army, it's the biggest problem. I really wish Sun, though, would have gotten out a medevac to heal up these units from that stim, and ooh, bad use of stim. There was only 3 zealots there. He should not have stimmed so early because now he lost a ton of health, and basically did almost no damage because now his stim's worn off and the full army has come to engage, and his army is just that much weaker without stim. Still doing a ton of damage, so a little bit of kiting here, and there we go, running away those, try and save those Marauders. Nice, a little bit of scoot and shoot saves the day for that Marauder. I'm not sure if he just stimmed, that would have, yeah, he did. That was a bad choice, especially with no medevacs on the field to heal his units. There we go, as I say that, there's actually 2 medevacs doing nothing and 2 more just popped out. They're on the field, just not being used. And we see Psionic Storm is actually just being researched. Coming out very late considering how long that Templar Archives has been there. And look, he actually warped into an Archon, probably thinking he was going to lose that battle. Too bad though, because those Templars, you need to actually build up the energy. They can no longer warp in with enough energy for a storm, so you have to build them ahead of time and let them build up that extra 25 energy. Oh, and it sounds like there was...
Our SCVs are
I'm
under
actually
attack.
hoping that.
Our SCVs are under
No,
attack.
I was actually hoping that he can do more harassment.
Yeah,
with his
we just saw
4
the Warp
zealots he has
Prism
back
do
here.
some droppage there. And he's dropping those zealots again. Bad choice though here. I would not suggest this. When you do a drop, you don't want to lose units. And oh my god, pretty good control saving 3 out of those 4 zealots. But yeah, that was a lot of economic damage he did there. A lot of lost mining time. In the main, we can see he took out a ton of... Okay, he didn't take out a ton of harvesters, or my harvester count is not updated. Yeah, there's way too many harvesters at the natural. Some of those need to be transferred very soon. He should put there we go, they're transferring back to the main. So the Sun falling apart to that harassment. Usually it's the Terran player dropping everybody. What do you think about the fact that now it's the Protoss player dropping the Sun? Really?
I was kind of expecting
Usually
it.
it's not common. I'm pretty excited. I love to see players using everything they can. I don't use Warp Prisms enough. I would love to use it more, but I don't. The Sun, very, very effective use of those Warp Prisms zealots. And you can see now he's taking his third, a little bit behind the Terran player, which, especially since the Terran player has 2 orbitals, that will definitely keep him behind in macro. So he's going to have to really use this army efficiently, get some good storms off. It's actually not looking too good for our Terran friend right now. 123 to 105 supply. He's letting both players actually letting their minerals get way too high, although the Terran player is having trouble keeping up with gas. He has not been checking to make sure he has 3 workers on every refinery, and one of the refineries only has 1 worker. So yeah, definitely, if we look at this game though, you can see definitely a few flaws in the macro from each player right now. Sidewinder is doing a much better job at getting out the army. TheSun, unless he gets some tech soon, he's going to be in a world of hurt because you cannot send a Marine Marauder bio ball against charged lots backed up with Psionic Storm from High Templars. That will just be very deadly. Look at the income tab right now, you can see both players sitting pretty even.
Yep.
Obviously the Terran player sometimes getting ahead because of those mules. Harvester count very much similar. We can see Sidewinder not remembering to put the extra workers on gas at his third expansion. That might end up hurting him, but he is going very, very heavy zealots, so we'll have to see how much that hurts him, considering his base is so huge. And oh my god, these barracks should be cancelled right now, and the Marines should be loaded up into those. Oh, I feel so bad. TheSun was doing so well, and his army... Oh, look at the beautiful feedbacks on those medevacs. They had so much energy, 3 of them getting taken out. Oh my god, so much damage. What beautiful micro coming out of Sidewinder, I think, win this game. TheSun just forgetting to build enough army. His macro is much better this game, but he just forgot to build enough army. It's very depressing to see him lose this way. But he's going to have to call GG real soon. He's got that Thor there, but he needs SCVs repairing it for it to be any use. But all the SCVs have been taken out. Was there a warp in the back of the base? Yes, there was a warp in at the back of the base. Well, there we go. Those medevacs can't do much. He's got 2 Vikings on the field patrolling for that warp in, but there we go. Sun throws down the GG and Sidewinder takes the series 2-0. So far we've been seeing 2-0s for both players. So what are your thoughts on that last game, Dylan? Quite an interesting game.
Well, TheSun definitely got his macro back up.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why he slipped up on his army. I think it was all of that harass from our Protoss player, I have to say. Yeah. Yeah, Sensor Tower would have been great. He had a little bit of trouble looking at his mini-map though, so it's hard to say if it would have been the best use, but it definitely would have helped. It would have also scared the Protoss player from dropping, because, you know, he'd obviously be... But yeah, definitely TheSun just falling apart. They're not building enough units at the end. The beginning of his game was much, much better. Yeah, TheSun played a very, very beautiful opening. I'm telling him right now that in chat, as you don't know that, Dylan, but the people viewing. Yeah, he was a little bit late on his 3-gate push, but very beautiful early aggression, very good at getting that macro up. But then into that mid-late game, he just lost his focus and sadly lost the game. So there we go. Sidewinder once again takes it 2-0, meaning that what do we have now? We have a Protoss in the final, and the other matchup, was it a random player, I believe? Yes, it was. Wasn't it, Dylan? Okay. Well, thanks, guys, for watching this tournament. Say thanks, Dylan, and if you have any last words, Dylan, before we finish this off this match.
Yeah, just don't forget the macro, and especially if you have macro, use it.
Yeah, for sure.
Like the resources.
Great advice.
If you have the expansions,
Thanks, everyone.
use the resources.